Hi, I'm Marie. I'm a painter living and working in London, and I'm mainly interested in displaying the human body and how it gets transformed through our exposure to the digital realities and digital realms that we're entering into on a daily basis. That's why I'm trying to reimagine the body and seeing the body as a fluid material that you can reshape depending on which environment it's in, and like the kind of feeling of disembodiment that we get nowadays when we're exposed to all of this digital presence. And I'm like trying to envision like spaces of bendable time and transformable space where like literally anything is possible and you can be the creator of your like own environment, your own like how you display yourself. I'm trying to reimagine that with my oil painting, which is quite traditional. I'm also extending it through like augmented reality and seeking inspiration in 3D animation and photogrammetry, like ways of how we can record the body and then display it in a new way that like kind of shows this feeling of disconnection but also connection to so many things at once, and the connection between like different bodies and staying in touch with different people online and being shaped by these interactions, and also shaping these interactions by what you like expose online or what you don't expose. In the piece behind me, I'm exploring a newer direction and a new process, like a more loose approach to my construction of the paintings, because in my earlier work I was focusing more on like white backgrounds and colder colors, but I feel like for the feeling of connecting with the human body, it needs to be like a warmer color scheme, and I'm trying to start with like unrestricted movement in the beginning of the work and then reacting to the movement and rendering the bodies out of the shapes that I created, which gives me much more like freedom, and I feel like it also displays how like something very organic becomes rendered in a sort of like sculptural way. So like taking the bodies out of a very loose environment but also keeping the roughness of the human touch to it, so it's not like a perfectly rendered 3D model that I'm just like translating into paint, but I'm like taking the natural movement and then like rendering the bodies out again, like in a sort of 3D animation way. It's also inspired like to capture the lights and to capture the feeling of iridescent screens that we're exposed to. The viewer gets immersed into this new environment where bodies emerge, and the bodies emerge out of each other and like give birth to a new shape, which I think is very, very interesting. In my previous work, I constructed the pieces with like bodies that I deliberately placed in the composition and then glitched them. Like the body was the thing with which I started, the compositional element, and then I manipulated it with like digital programs and also with like the flow of paint in my movement to like distort the form of the body. But right now I'm more like I'm flipping the process and developing the bodies out of the movement, and I'm not starting with a confined image of a body, which makes it much more open. Like I can react to the painting more easily. I'm not producing an image, but I'm reacting to what I see, and it's almost like a conversation between me and the work, in which I explore what I can like take out from it and push forward in order to express the idea that I had initially when I started with the loose movement.